Hello Internet, welcome to Elimu Kenya, the only channel that leverages technology in order to make geography theory practical, relatable, and above all understandable. In today's episode, we take a journey to Africa's largest freshwater lake, that is Lake Victoria, right here in Kenya. Now, a brief history about this lake. Lake Victoria, famously known as Nam Lolwe locally. This name was given by the Luo community, which is the dominant community around this lake region. It is a jewel that is shared among 3 countries. This includes Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Lake Victoria was formed thousands of years ago through tectonic activities which led to downwarping, creating a depression. This depression was later filled with the river waters together with the rainfall waters. Today, it stands as the world's second largest freshwater lake, only after Lake Superior in North America. Welcome to my YouTube channel as we explore various economic activities taking place in Lake Victoria. Among them, we'll talk about fishing, we'll talk about water transport, we'll talk about tourism, we'll talk about trade. Tag along. Remember to watch this video to the end. Like it, leave your comment, share, and above all, subscribe. Along the shoreline in the early morning, Lake Victoria puts on a natural show of waves in motion. As the wind pushes water towards the land, the swash, that is the forward rush of water, often sweeps up the beach, carrying with it fine sand, pebbles, and sometimes it even carries organic materials. Moments later, the backwash or the retreating flow of water pulls some of these materials back towards the lake. But because the backwash is often weaker than the swash, more material gets deposited than removed. And over time, this gentle dance of waves often leads to the gradual buildup of sediments, forming sandy beaches and reshaping the shoreline. This process is not just scenic. It is a live demonstration of coastal geomorphology right here in the heart of inland Africa. It reminds us that Lake Victoria, though a freshwater lake, behaves in many ways just like a miniature sea with its own currents, waves, and depositional features that continually modify the landscape. Here you can see a fisherman preparing a green coloring matter that he uses to attract the fish during the fishing escapade. And soon you're going to see the result. Here the fisherman is seen throwing the harps inside the water. Section we dive into the heart of life around the Kenyan section of Lake Victoria, and that is fishing. Along the shores, handline fishing, which is a simple but skillful technique used along the shores, remains the common and the dominant traditional fishing method, especially in the shallow waters where personally I could access. I am waterphobic, so I can't access the deep sections of the lake. But often, for the seasoned fishermen, they head into the lake at night, and when they return at dawn, their nets carry a treasure of assorted fish. These include, but not limited to, sardines, tilapia, catfish, and the mighty Nile perch. The Nile perch, monstrous in size, often feeds on small fish and sometimes grows as large as human. Indeed, a true giant of the waters. Now, looking at that video, you can see a young man doing what he knows best, something that he has learned from his predecessors: how to unhook the fish, how to cast the hook, and you can see the end result. Now, as I gather courage to next time venture into the deep sections of the lake, you can see that while some fishermen venture into the deep lake with large nets and trawlers, handline fishing will always keep us close to the heart of the sea. Lake Victoria during fishing is not just about fishing, it's about survival and endurance. Out in the deep waters, fishermen often spend long hours and sometimes overnight. Now, to keep their strength, they carry simple stoves and they cook right inside their boat. The aroma of the boiling tea or maybe roasting fish mixed with the breeze of the lake keeps them warm and energized as they wait for their next catch. Now, as dawn breaks, the shoreline of Lake Victoria comes alive. Fishermen return from the deep waters with boats full of assorted fish. And as you mentioned earlier, this entails sardines, tilapia, catfish, and sometimes the giant Nile perch. At this moment, the morning trade begins, and immediately the women and traders crowd on the landing sites, sorting and bargaining. Each fish is carefully weighed and measured, the scale clinking as prices are set. Here, the lake provides not just food, but a bustling economy that sustains the entire families around the lake. Now, someone might ask, how is Lake Victoria a powerful economic engine? Now, upon the arrival of the fresh fish at the shore, this sparks more than just a meal. It fuels trade and livelihoods. Once the fishermen dock, traders, many of them women, buy the fish in bulk, measure them, sort them, and then resell them in the local markets, while others transport them into bigger towns like Kisumu, Homa Bay, Nairobi, and even thicker. Some even go across borders. This trade chain is what creates jobs. And it creates jobs for who? The boat operators, the fishmongers, the transporters, the ice suppliers, the market vendors. In this way, then Lake Victoria is not only a source of food, but also a powerful economic engine, connecting the rural fishing villages to the urban markets and sustaining thousands of families through commerce. And this is trade. Now, one may ask, where did Nile perch come from? The Nile perch, one of the largest fresh water fish in the world, is that giant that now dominates Lake Victoria. But it wasn't always here. In the 1950s and the 1960s, the Nile perch was introduced into the lake as a way of boosting commercial fishing. At first, the idea seemed so brilliant. The fish grew fast, this fetched high market prices, and soon became the backbone of an export trade reaching Europe and beyond. But its presence came at a cost. Being a fierce predator, the Nile perch fed on native species. This drove to extinction of some of those native species, changing the natural balance of the lake forever. Today, it remains both a blessing and a challenge. That is, providing income and food while reminding us of the delicate relationship between human decisions and the environment. Water from Lake Victoria is also essential for domestic use. Now, along the shores of Lake Victoria, donkeys often play a vital role in daily life. They are used to transport heavy containers of water, that is from the lake to nearby homes, and this water is normally used for cooking, cleaning, and also drinking. For many families, especially those living far from piped waters, these humble animals are true lifeline, bridging the gap between the lake and the household needs. When you say that a Nile perch can match the size of a human being, now this is what we mean. Lake Victoria is not only home to fish and people, it also supports incredible aquatic life. In this clip, you can spot a hippopotamus, one of the lake's most iconic animals. Hippos spend much of their time in the water, grazing on aquatic plants and playing an important role in the lake's ecosystem. Now, beyond ecology, such wildlife adds to the tourism value of Lake Victoria. Visitors come to see hippos, rare bird species, and stunning waterscapes, making the lake not just a source of livelihood, but also a natural attraction that showcases the rich biodiversity of the Kenya's western region. From this video, you can see fishermen also harvesting what you call a swim bladder or a fish mouth. Now, this one normally comes from a large fish like a Nile perch. This organ is highly valued. It's dried and sold for use in the food industry, traditional medicine, and even in making of what we call the surgical threads. So for many, it's a hidden treasure of the Lake Victoria that brings in extra income beyond the fish itself. Now, as a way of sustainable fishing, on Lake Victoria, fish cage farming is transforming the future of fishing. Instead of relying only on the open lake, communities now rear fish in floating cages where they are protected, monitored, and allowed to grow to market size. This method boosts production while reducing the pressure on wild stocks. In this video, you have seen the governor of Homa Bay County, Her Excellency Gladys Wanga, personally taking part by releasing the fingerlings into the cages, a gesture showing county support for the modern aquaculture, and such initiatives promise food security, job creation, and sustainable use of Lake Victoria resources. Once the fingerlings are released, the daily work now begins. And this is the feeding of the fish in the cages. Farmers drop specially prepared pellets into the water, and the fish quickly gathers to feed. This controlled feeding often helps the fish to grow faster, ensures better quality, and makes the harvest more predictable. It's a clear example of how modern aquaculture is shaping a more reliable future for the communities around Lake. Beyond fishing, Lake Victoria is a lifeline for transport. One of the most revolutionary systems is the water bus, connecting Rusinga Island to its surrounding shores. It further links Uyoma, Luanda Kotieno, and Mbita. This creates a vital bridge between central Nyanza, that's Siaya, and southern Nyanza, that's parts of the Homa Bay. The water bus ferries people and motorbikes, while the ferries carry vehicles of all sizes. For those in a hurry, speedboats slice across the waters in just 15 minutes. This is as compared to the 30 minutes by the water bus and 45 minutes by the ferry. And guess what? When none are available, traditional wooden boats swing into action, a reminder of the resilience and resourcefulness of lake community. Now here is a perfect example where we have a speedboat swinging into action and a water bus coming through as well. Now, as mentioned earlier, not all transport across Lake Victoria is modern. When ferries, water buses, and the speedboats are not available, the communities often turn to the traditional wooden boats. This is a perfect example. As you can see, these boats are locally crafted from timber and have been used for generations. They sway gently on the waters and often paddled, and others are fitted with engines. Though slower and less stable compared to the modern vessels, they still remain affordable and accessible means of crossing the lake. Fishermen also rely on these boats to access shallow fishing grounds closer to the shore. In many ways, the wooden boats are more than just transport. They are a living symbol of resilience and the deep cultural connection between the lake and the people. In the recent years, Lake Victoria has also seen a major revival in the modern transport. One of the biggest milestones is the MV Uhuru 2, which is a cargo vessel assembled right here at the Kisumu shipyard. This vessel connects Kisumu port to Uganda's port as well as Tanzania's port, while carrying goods such as petroleum products, industrial materials, and even the food supplies across the lake. Its return marks the rebirth of what we call Kisumu as an economic hub. It has opened up the trade routes, reducing the heavy reliance on the road transport. By shifting the bulk cargo onto the water, the MV Uhuru 2 helps ease the traffic on the highways, thus cutting down the transport cost and strengthening the regional integration within East Africa community. It is more than just a ship. It is a floating bridge of commerce, linking communities, businesses, and countries around Lake Victoria. As we have seen, Lake Victoria is more than just a lake. It is a source of food through fishing, a hub of innovation through cage farming, a highway of connection through ferries, water buses, speedboats, and even traditional wooden boats, and a growing center for trade with vessels like MV Uhuru 2. Thank you for joining me on this journey across the Kenyan waters of Lake Victoria. I hope you have enjoyed seeing how geography comes alive right before your eyes. Here at Elimu Hub Kenya, our promise is simple: to make geography not just a theory from textbook, but practical, relatable, and truly understandable. If you love this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and don't just watch, be part of the Elimu Hub community where learning meets adventure. Thank you so much.